Hello, ma'am.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. Look at
There you
Jarrell saying, "Welcome to the welcome, Olivia in the building.
go.
Welcome to Pop Your Shit."
I'm
You
here.
know what? You better listen. Pop the collar. You know we Bay Area over here all day long. That's what we do.
hmm
Well, welcome to Pop Your Shit. We have the very talented, the very beautiful, the very debonair Olivia Linden.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. I see my girls in the chat.
Yes, 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 yes. They stay supporting the sister.
They sure
They stay
do.
supporting. I appreciate them. Hi, Maya. Happy birthday, love. Early birthday. All right. So, if you guys don't know, this is a live.
I knew she was going to say where my book at. I was waiting.
First of all, that was one of my questions. We're looking at. But hold on, before we do that, um, this will be on YouTube tomorrow. Like and subscribe. Make sure that you click the reminder button so you know when I've posted over there. Okay. All right. All right. Now that the church announcements is out the way, we're looking at.
Okay, so I promise you guys, I need to send you guys the first like 3 or 4 chapters. So once you guys look at that and let me know what you think, then I can move forward and finish it up. So
Okay.
all three of you, Books and Locks, and Darrell, y'all all need to read that for me.
Okay. You know I'm all in. I'm on vacation, girl.
Okay, good, good, good.
I'm
And I
on
had this
vacation. I
Christmas
got
book.
foolishness going on this for these next 2 weeks.
Okay, cool. Because my Christmas book is coming out. So
What day and when
the
and
23rd.
what's the name of the book?
Mischief and Mistletoe.
And is it romance? Is
It's
it
a romance.
comedy?
Okay, so it's a cute Christmas romance. It's it's a slow burn, but
Mhm.
when I get to the spice, But it's like a twin switch. So it's a set of sisters, and one sister is trying to get married to this millionaire, but his older brother doesn't approve of them because he doesn't think that she's worthy. She's an influencer. She's always on Instagram, and he's just like no. So the two sisters, they're always, getting into some type of shenanigans. So now she's like, we're too old for this. What are you talking about? So she's like, listen, I just need you to be me for like 2 or 3 days. Give us time to get married. And by the time, old boy figures out what's going on, you can go back home. So she has to pretend to be her sister for an event, and she goes to this event and meets this guy, right? And he's, everything. And she's just like, man, how can I meet this guy and I can't even do anything because I'm supposed to be my sister who's engaged to somebody else? But the attraction is just crazy. All right, so she's following through with the plan, shows up to where she's supposed to be for the sister to meet the brother in law. This guy is here. It turns out he's the business partner. So now she's tripping because they did some things. And
Mm.
now she's like, oh my God, I just need to hold on for a couple more days and we'll be good. And of course, there's a little kidnapping involved. Next thing she knows, she's in another country with this guy, and they have their little back and forth. And then she gets her happy ending. Hey,
Okay,
Rita.
so wait a minute. So inquiring minds want to know: is this a novel, or is this a novella?
So what had happened was it was supposed to be a novella. It's like right there. It could go either way. It's not short enough to be a technical novella, but it's just like right on the borderline of a novel.
Okay, I'm excited.
It's gonna be quick either way. It's a good. Trust me. You know me. I
Yeah,
got you.
absolutely. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Mhm.
All right. So, my second question, because again, my first question was, where is luck? But we got it. Um, what made you fall in love with writing?
I feel like I've always been in love with writing because I've been in love with reading since I was really young. So when I was in school, writing just came naturally to me. I didn't think about it, and my imagination, I would just write down whatever came. And one of my teachers was like, you're really good. So when you hear somebody say, wow, you're good, it's like, oh, okay, so let me do this. And I just, write poems, plays for my friends. And as I got older, I started, writing stories.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, do you remember the name of the first story you ever written?
Yes, it was called, it was Old Blue. So this is a story that really, the teacher, she looked at it. She was like, "Did your parents help you with this?" I said, "No." So I wrote a whole story about a little boy that was growing up on a wagon train. Don't ask me where I got this from, but he's on a wagon train with his family, and they're not, they're kind of poor, so they're eating like, beans and just the same thing every night. And they have this cow that they, use for their milk and stuff like that. So they get to a particular stop, and the father's like, "Listen, we're gonna have to sell this cow because we don't have enough money. We just need, And the little boy was kind of attached to it, so he was upset. And I don't even remember the whole story, but I just know that at the end, the father brought the cow back and was like, we were able to somehow they were able to get money another way, and he saw how upset the son was, so he brought the cow back. And the teacher was just like, "This is really good." And they had it in the hallway for the whole school year. They
How
had
old were you? What grade were
eight,
you? Huh?
8.
And you wrote this whole story?
It was supposed to be like a little short story assignment, and I turned it into like this whole almost like play. Hey, Nina. And the teacher was just like, "What? Where did you get this from?" I'm like,
Wow.
and I just remember being very excited about the story. Like as I was writing it, I was like, "Oh, they got beans and they eat bacon when they're being fancy." Like it was just, I just remember that excitement that I felt writing it.
Wow. So, when did you publish your first book?
First book I published around Valentine's Day 2013. That's Jaded Hearts. And I don't know where that story came from either. But that story took me like about 5 years to finish. Like I just kept writing a scene here, a scene there. And then I let a coworker read it, and she was just like, "Girl, where's the rest of this? Like, what do you?" So every night I would go home after work and write a chapter and bring it in, and she was just like, "Come on, give me more." And I was like, "Okay." And then about 2012, I think I had a surgery, and I was just reading, reading, reading. That was back around the time like Colleen Hoover and 50 Shades of Grey was popular, Twilight and all that. So I'm reading all these books, and it was like, you could do this. You could write a story like this. And so I pulled out my little story that's been sitting in the closet and just finished it.
Uh, so when did you so at the age of 8 did you realize you had it and I'm gonna be an author? When did that realization happen?
Literally, when I was like, "You should just write a book," and published it. When I figured out that I could do self-publishing, I was like, "Oh, you should just do that." And I mean, when I tell you my first book, like no editing, I did the cover myself in like paint. It was just, it was a hot mess, but the story was so good, people didn't care. Hey,
Oh, hey y'all.
anyway,
Okay, so I'm excited. I'm so excited because some people don't, they write from
thank you.
when they get older or they've lived through a few things, and you've been right out
Hmm.
the gate.
Yeah.
Did your parents know that you had that gift, or they were just like, oh,
Yeah, they knew. They knew. My mom was the one that really got me into reading because she had a bunch of books. And I just remember going to the library really young, and taking out books. And I like, it was so vivid. I even remember there was one book about cornrows, about a little girl who was learning to accept that her hair was different than everybody else. And I don't know, I just love reading that much. So to me, I didn't even think of it as, "Oh, you're doing this thing." It was just something that I love to do.
okay. So, what is your favorite genre to write, and then what is your favorite genre to read?
Romance, of course. I love romance. I love writing about the tension between two people. Um, I like writing spice too. Like I like that part. But I love I just love the dynamics of a romantic relationship. But honestly, my favorite genre to read, I like mysteries and thrillers. If there's romance in them, even better, because then I get the best of both worlds. But I love a good, who done it.
So, what all genres have you written in? Just this is just for the people in the back.
Right now, it's only been romance, but I've done like romantic suspense. I've done urban, and just contemporary.
What's the name of that book? Hold on one second, because I just read a little snack. Um, what is the name of that book? And I was like,
Oh,
Olivia.
naughty.
Yes.
Girl, I don't even know. I think it was like, what was that, 2014? I was like, oh, I need to write a Valentine's Day book.
Because I was like, y'all don't come for me, because I know it's Christmas time, but I'm reading Valentine's Day. When I tell you, I was like, it was, you know what it was for me? It was the build up. It
Yeah.
was the build up for me. I was like, if she don't drop her his,
That's the fun part for me. All the things that lead up right before, we have action. I love that part.
I do. I loved it. I was like, I was loving the best friend. Was like, okay, you need to
Hmm.
do a strip tease. And I was like, yes,
He was like, come on, girl. What are
come
you
on,
doing?
girl. And you are boring. She goes, but I'm shy. No, boring.
Hmm. You gotta turn that man on. Talking
Oh,
about
I
you getting
loved it.
hit.
That tickled my soul during lunch. That did. That did. Okay. So, what trope do you want to write?
um, I think I want to tackle like a psychological thriller. I've had certain ideas, but it's for some reason romance. Like I said, I could just get into that zone real easy and go. But I want to do like a serious novel. Maybe it wouldn't even have any romance in it at all. But I want something where the story has like twists and turns, and you're like, what? Olivia wrote that? What she got going on?
Listen, I'm for it. I like everything. I think that, especially my book club,
Hmm.
and it's not my, but I'm just saying the book club I belong to, because I don't want nobody thinking I started, because, ma'am, I did not.
I be careful.
But for the books we love to discuss, we read everything. So, ma'am, when you get ready, we here
You
for
know
it.
it.
I like a good suspense. I like a good. I like, I'm all in, I've been in the streets for these last couple of weeks. I'm trying to
Hmm.
get out the streets. It's kind of hard. So I had to break free and get a couple of novellas, and yours has happened to be
Listen,
one of
I
them.
tried to get out the streets too, and then Capri 3.5 came back. I was like, okay, I'm back in the streets. It's all right. All
And
right.
it was good too.
Pulling me back in.
And it was good too.
I'm not done. I'm still
I'm
like
not
at the
telling
very
you.
beginning.
I'm
Okay.
not telling you. I'm not telling you,
Okay.
because last night I kept saying, I told Shannon, I said, I'm not gonna do any live reactions. Girl, I got in that bed. Next thing I know, I'm reacting. Because I was like, I know you lying.
No. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. See, I'm
All
gonna
I'm
finish
just
that
saying,
by tonight now.
all I will say is, and you already know this, stay off them bridges in them freeways.
Listen, I'm from New York, so when I read about how these people be driving on the bridges and tunnels, I'm like, what? What? Like, I'm not scared. I'm not a scared driver, but you see me on that bridge, I'm 10 and 2, okay? I'm like,
Out of your catalog, or anybody else, who is your book boyfriend? Who is the book boyfriend for you? Your catalog or anybody's?
okay, so if I'm doing my catalog, I'm gonna say Jay. Okay, Jay's my heart. Jay is a piece of me. Um, it's so hard out of all books. It's hard because there's so many. There's so many. Last week, who did I see? I said it was. I think it was. Was it Declan from Intrigued by Danger?
Okay. Okay.
He's right up my alley. He's right up my alley because he's like manly, but you can still tell him what to do a little bit.
I'm just saying. I have a very extensive last name. I have listen. I'm just gonna tell you my name.
Okay.
Y'all, y'all don't judge me. Y'all don't judge me.
Can't wait for this.
Okay. So, I have three husbands and a boyfriend.
Ooh, that's it.
So Shane is my boyfriend.
Okay.
Shane is my man, Diaka, my man. But my last name is Nicole Okafor Wellington Inferno.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That's my last name. Now I know other people
That's
might
Quamir
take it
Inferno.
different. Listen, me and Quabir, we are together like
Okay.
two
I'm not
pieces
even
of
mad
bread,
at that.
peanut butter and jelly, Kool-Aid and sugar, ham in the burger. That is
I
for
am
me.
not. Wait, so wait, I didn't hear a Delgado in your last name. You went Inferno.
I went
Okay.
Inferno.
Okay.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm an Inferno. Hey,
You're
nasty.
nasty.
I'm an Inferno.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
I am a whole Inferno. I can't wait. But I reserve the right to change my mind.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I do have a crush on Capadonna. I do like Capadonna. I if someone like him came after me, I would be like, I shouldn't, but I don't know how I would tell him no.
But
Just
he make
see.
it so easy for you. He make it so easy. But I was okay. So I was on the fence between Capone and Capadonna because I like Capone's quietness if compared to Capadonna's
Hmm.
loudness. Even though he's not loud, but his spirit is loud.
Yeah. See,
And
I
I'm
need
like,
a little bit of that. I need a
right,
little. I need a
right.
guy that's like, hey, hey, because I'm a little loud, you know. So I'm like,
But it's quite rare for me. It's the unhinged. I'm laying in the back of this truck and I'm going,
no, that had me rolling. The girl went to go get her chicken, and this man was in the trunk. Like, what are you doing?
and she on the date. Fool, he told you I'm pressure.
He
That's
did
what I'm
tell
talking
her.
about.
He told her.
I am pressure. So we have your book boyfriend. Um, what is the your most favorite book you've ever read in life? What is number one for you?
Oh, that ever in life. Dang. See, I think the books that I read when I was younger always stand out because your mind is just more impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
So there was, it makes me laugh because I've read the book as an adult, and it's a hot mess, but it's so good to me. It's called Sweet Savage Love.
Who's that
It's
by?
one of those. It's one of those like you know, bodice rippers, them old school historical romance type books. I don't even know. That book's
Mm-hmm.
from the 70s. But it was on my mother's bookshelf, and I remember reading that book. And I mean, I wasn't getting no sleep. I'm in the bed, like, what? Because this book, they met in America. She was in Mexico. She was taken by these people. He had to get her back. Then these people took her. She was rich. Then she was poor. Then she was rich again. She thought he was dead. Then she found out he was alive. And then they got back together. And I mean, everything that happened in between there was just crazy. That book had me. And I always think about that book.
I'm trying to think. What was the name of my? Do I see it? Because I can't think of the name of it. I want to say it was Omar Tyree's book. What was the name of that book?
Hmm. Is it
Uh,
Fly Girl? No.
Fly Girl. It was Fly Girl.
Okay.
That was probably one of my first urban reads.
Mm-hmm.
And I was all over the place. But my favorite author, hey y'all, my favorite author of all is Frances Ray.
Okay.
I
Okay.
am a when that lady passed away, I was all over the floor.
Aw.
Yes, because I was a big fan. I know I like Rochelle Allers and
Mm-hmm.
all of them. Yes, they they listen. My sister in law still today, she was like, well, I know I got her read these books. You and did, and yes.
for Zane. I love a Zane book.
Me
Like,
too.
she's one of those. I mean, how old was I when I started reading her? But anything that she put out, I'm like, all right. Even if it's not the best, it's good to me. It's I'm with it.
So let's talk about the R&B series, just real quick, just real quick.
Okay.
So the R&B series for me was a little bit of nostalgia because I felt like this was the foolishness I had going on in college. Just the back and forth.
hmm
What made you write the R&B series?
So I was writing book two of Luck, right? And I was in a scene that was like really, a really sad scene. And I found that when I was writing that book, I kept jumping ahead to the relationship parts. And so I was like, why don't you just write a romance? You know what I'm saying? Just write something that doesn't have any, like, no love triangle, no suspense, just like something cute. And I have my playlist for Luck, so I was like, yeah, it'll be like a R&B only playlist. And I was like, wait a minute, each book could be the title of an R&B song. And I was like, oh, the R&B series. All right, all right. So, and that's how, I mean, it was literally like that. I put Luck down and I started writing Forever My Lady. I think I wrote that book in like 2 weeks.
Are you one of those people where your characters talk to you, or you just write the story?
It's more like a visualization. It's not like, this, but it's like I'm seeing stuff. So like as I'm writing, I'll see a scene. I see it play out. So like in the beginning, I saw Shell on her bed thinking about her boyfriend. I like the scene where they saw each other for the first time when he came into the hotel and he was like, he knew he was coming to get her and she had no idea what was going on. Like I actually
Mhm.
see those like it's happening and then I just write it down.
Girl, can I tell you constructed them people? I was like, yes, ma'am. So each couple, so okay, so we saw how one couple who was not, they I mean, they were part of the story, they were in the background, but they're coming to the forefront. Are they coming? Are they getting another book? Is this series over?
No, there's another book coming. There's another book coming. There might be two books coming,
I know
depending
you
on how
are.
I write it. Because I know you saw another couple, possible couple, at the end of what's that, Lovers and Friends.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
depending on how I write Kiko's book will determine if that couple needs their own book or if they're going to be part of that. I don't know yet.
I need Kiko's book. I
It's
need that. I think that's gonna just knock me on down the street because I can't believe the husband. I thought
yeah.
he was such a great husband. Was this good on the outside? Might not be looking good on the inside.
Exactly. What glitters, right? And sometimes, when you have this plan for your life and you think you want these things, right? If I have this, then I'll be happy. Or if I
Mm-hmm.
have this, then I'll be straight. And then you have these things and you realize, the person that you thought would have been the best person for you for the rest of your life, at 18, it's not always that person. At the time it seems like a great idea, but as you get older and mature, you start wanting different things and you
Right.
realize you and this person, while you still maybe love each other, you're not necessarily right for each other.
Right. 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 What is the hardest trope or genre to write for you?
I think the hardest, that's a good one. I think like having to space out the people being together, like in Lovers and Friends, the fact that it took Joey and Shane so long to get together, that
Mm-hmm.
was a little difficult because I want them to be together. I want them to kiss. I want them to be doing things. But for that particular story, it didn't work that way. So that one took me a lot longer than the other two books. That took me
Mm-hmm.
months and months. Given a Chance was like this. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Forever My Lady, quick. Lovers and Friends, I was like, oh man, they put me through it because I wanted to be like this, but what's
Mm-hmm.
happening, like that whole story, the way it played, I had not planned that. You know what I'm saying? It was like just me laying there like, nah, they've been friends for a long time, but they're not gonna get together. You
Quick.
know, they're not gonna go together right away.
They got to figure this out. They got to
Mhm.
get past that trauma. Wow. Because when you wrote the book and you was like, okay, I'm nervous about y'all reading this book, but I was like, once I read that first book, I was like, oh, she got it. I don't know what's getting to happen to these next people, but she got it. I was so excited about that book. Oh my God. Because I feel like I don't think they mimic me.
Mhm.
I think that who mimics me the best? The middle couple.
Jay and Nicole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
They mimic me a little bit. I mean, not now, but then.
Back then.
A
Mhm.
portion of my life. a portion. So, what is okay? So I know some authors, sex is the hardest thing for them to write. Is that easy for you to write?
That's the easiest part. That's the easiest part.
You just let your mind go wild.
Listen, I think about because it's fun. It's like, oh, he about to do this to her, and I think about the personality of the two people. You know what I'm saying? So like Nicole, she seems like she's all stuffy, but she's got that little freak in her, so she's willing to try things and she's open. And the fact that she realized that Jay would do whatever, and then afterwards he didn't, he wasn't clowning like she thought he would. It was just like they were doing all this thing, and he never mentioned it again. So then it made her feel more comfortable. So I love that. Like I love putting the two people together and seeing what they're gonna actually do to each other. Are they gonna rip each other's clothes off, or are they gonna take it slow? Is he gonna lick all of her, or is he gonna be so excited he's just ready to get right to it? So that's my favorite part.
Okay. Okay, so one of the things I love about your writing is the character development because you come out the gate in book one developing all these characters. Even though you add characters on and their full characters not there, but you kind of get a sense of who they are by the time you get to their story. I love that about you. How hard is that to do?
I think it's different with every story. And it depends on how in sync I am with what I want to write versus what's going on up here. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I could do the outline. Like I'm very practical with the start of the book, right? I always want to do an outline. I know how long I want it to be. I know, what genre. But sometimes the way the story unravels in my head, what's going on up here is different. So if that's aligned better, it's nothing. Like the R&B series, those people they just popped in, and I knew who they were all immediately. I
Mm-hmm.
knew which friend Shell was. I knew which friend Kiko was. I knew which friend Joey was. Like it was just like these were actual people that I could just look up and be like, okay, this is their bio. And then I just like wrote it. I had a document where I just wrote it out. Like Shell's gonna be the lawyer, Joey's gonna be this, but she's a little bit more fun. Nicole's gonna be the nosy one, but she's really sweet, on the inside. And then Kiko's kind of like the wild card.
Right.
She's the more out there, aggressive, one, flashy one, but she has a part of her that everybody doesn't know. So that story, boom, real easy. Luck. Luck's a little bit different because he's transitioning, right? So who he is at the time that I start that book and who he is now at the end of the book is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still not done. Like that's still not even who he wants to be. So, sometimes that you got to be careful because you have to make sure that you actually transition and you're not still having him do things based on who he used to be, but he's supposed to be, moving along. So
Mm-hmm.
that book was a little different because with him, plus the characters around him were all different, right? He had the best friend that wanted something from him, the ex girlfriend, and her personality, and what was her end game. And then it's like deciding are these characters going to make it to book two or are they going to fall away, right?
Right.
And so you just got to keep that in mind. So a book like that is a little bit more tricky because you want to make sure that you're staying true to not just the main character, but the ones that pop in and out too.
Mm-hmm. 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 What genre you will never write? Or do you think you will hit all genres?
I don't know. I mean, I'm never doing like, I don't want to say never. I mean, like science fiction. I say that now, and then I could probably come up with an idea, but I don't see myself doing anything like that. As far as like subgenres, like with romance, I don't really see like the age gap thing. Um, I did the whole stepbrother thing, but it was like later in life. Like they were already adults when the parents got together, so they didn't grow up as kids. I can't
Mm-mm.
do we grew up as kids and then now we want to date. I can't do that. We can't do that. But I don't know. I think I would probably try anything, honestly.
What's too far for you in a book? What's too far? You know, some people just take it over to the edge.
I mean, I don't know. If it's written in a way that makes sense, I could palate like a lot. But I don't really love books where the female character is hurt. You know what I'm saying? Any like I don't like it. I don't like to see people hurt. Like Hunting Adeline, Hunting those books, they're not up my alley. I like dark romance in a certain capacity, but when you start with like the mutilating and then like we're supposed to be together.
It's a bit much, but you know, I'll be here for it all because I just want to know what is going on in your old twisted mind. Where it's going.
Or like when you start doing like certain bodily fluids, I'm just like, hey, hold on, what's happening right
I'm
now?
going. Showers be wearing me out. They wear me out. It wears me out. So how? Okay. So in marketing, I know that some authors have a hard time marketing, but it seems to work for you. What's your secret?
I mean, I hope it's working. I don't know. I think when I first came out, I felt like I was chasing, right? I was looking at what other people were doing and trying to figure out like, okay, that's working for that person, this person. And I just wound up doing too much. I felt like I got burnt out. So when I came back and especially being on TikTok, I was like, yo, you just got to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Mm-hmm.
be yourself. And it's like, you see me, I'm silly, right? I love music.
Mm-hmm.
My imagination is crazy. So I was like, you just have to figure out a way to tie that into the books that you're writing. Be yourself.
Right.
And the
Right.
R&B series is easy because I love R&B. So it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna lean into that and try to use that. So that's it. You just have to do what you're comfortable with, what feels natural, and then just try to be consistent.
Do you read book reviews?
I look at them. Because you want to see, you want to test the temperature, right? Like, okay, how did this hit? Is there anything that, people are mentioning, in a good or a bad way?
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Um, but like, I don't live on Goodreads. I'll just go on Amazon real quick, see what's going on, and I jump off because what someone's opinion is, I don't know that person. They don't know me. And if they didn't love the book, they didn't love the book. Like, what can I do?
You know, we were talking about that last night where I feel like sometimes we just because we don't like the subject matter,
Mm-hmm.
construe that as the book being bad. And it's not that the book is bad, it's well written that and that's what I be trying to tell people.
Right.
You
See, as a reader, right? Because I love books. If a book is well written and I read it to the end, that's a good book. Because you got me to read something that I don't even like. You got me to stay. Like, there's plenty of books where I'm like, oh, what is going on? But I'm going to stay, right? Like, okay, I know this is like a cliche example to use, but like Demon's Dream, right?
mhm.
The beginning scene when she first saw him and he was covered, right? And she was just like, ugh, like, normally I would be like, okay,
That's too
I'm
much.
not, I don't even want it. But no matter what kept happening in that book, I was like,
Let me keep going.
what they doing now? What did he do now? What's he about to do? So that's what I'm saying. I would never. say that a book is not good because I didn't like something in it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't get that. It's like, did you enjoy yourself? Did you feel something? And if you felt compelled to read the whole thing, you got to really ask yourself, if I didn't like this, why did I read the whole thing?
True. Because this is my thing. I think sometimes people construe um, what they don't like as far as the how the book ended or a particular character as constructive criticism.
Right.
I need, like we said last night, I need y'all to understand what fiction is. I need y'all to look that up. Not y'all in the chat because y'all know what it is. Y'all know how we get down. But for those in the back, I need you to understand what fiction is. Fiction is not reality. It needs to make sense, but it's not reality. So
And then also, there's different kinds of endings.
right,
Now, in a romance, you typically want a happy ending,
right,
right? That's or a happy for now. But what is happy to you? Like, I have people who are like, oh, we don't like babies. Well, typically, most people who get into a romantic relationship and they're going at it, y'all like the spice in this book. Eventually, a baby might, a baby could happen, especially when they raw dogging, reckless, doing it here, there, and everywhere. Okay, so for a lot of women, a baby is a happy ending. You know what I'm saying? So maybe for you, like, people have to recognize that their preferences are not necessarily a scale. That is a taste, it's a preference. That doesn't mean that the story is bad. Saying a
right.
story is bad because it has a certain trope is silly, because if that story is written really good, it's a good book. It doesn't matter what the trope is. Like, do you remember when we didn't even talk about tropes? It was just the book was coming out and it was about this. It was a romantic suspense, or it was this, but it wasn't like a romantic suspense, enemies to lovers, source proximity, dot dot dot. No, it wasn't all of that. You just knew that it was this author, it was this, genre, and it came out on this date. That's it. Cliffhanger. A cliffhanger is a viable ending.
I'm just saying. I, point blank. Period. Point blank. Period.
That is the ending. Ambiguous. There's some books where you figuring out, leaving it up to you to determine what the ending is the ending. You decide, do you want them to have a happy ending, or did they not make it, or however, whatever, it's on you. So those are all endings. Books don't have to look this way or that way. So that's what I feel like more people need to understand. Like, if you have like a certain preference, then you need to be a little bit more, I think, meticulous in how you're choosing your books. Maybe don't go for what everybody's reading. Maybe just because you've seen it all over TikTok or Facebook and everybody's talking about it, if that's not for you, then don't do it.
Exactly. Because I feel like if you end the book and I go on the book too, why am I giving you a 1 star?
I mean, 1 star for me, the book has to be all the things that makes a book, right? The sentence structures are terrible. The transitions were bad. The plot was bad, right? The things that comprised the story was just all not good. All those elements were lacking something. Okay, you take the star down. But if those elements were in place and it just happened to not be your cup of tea, then it's not a 1 star.
I feel
Maybe
like
people just don't even leave a review. You don't have to leave a review. But
and
to say that,
that's the point I'm trying to get to. That's the point because like
think that whatever I'm thinking is so important. However, I feel about this book is so important that I got to come and 1 star or 2 star somebody's book, because like that baffles my mind. Who am I? Like, if I
right,
don't like a book, I just act like it never existed. I'm not going on Amazon. The only way I would go on Amazon is if I don't want people to waste their money. Right? You don't want people to waste their money because this is really a mess and it really shouldn't be out here. That's the only reason I feel like you should go on Amazon and say something is a 1 or a 2. Or if there's like subject matter in it that's just horrendous, right? And you feel like it would be very offensive to the masses, but they're not letting you know. That's different. But just because I don't like something, I'm gonna go now and rate another author or somebody else low because it just didn't float my boat. That's ridiculous.
Because I mean, I know, like in our book club, we have one of the young ladies, and she'll be like, "This book may not be. This book is not for me. However, you may enjoy it. I think you should check it out for yourself.
Right.
Don't let my view of this particular subject stop you from reading this book. It just wasn't for me." And I think that's perfectly okay. But when you and it because my thing is if I'm what I'm rating is character development, what I'm rating is the plot holes. Is it transitioning well? That's what I'm rating.
Right.
And I don't know if this is the thinker in me, but I'm not rating how someone says, well, I don't like that character because they said she has two necklaces on and they don't match. Girl, if you don't go somewhere, sit down. I would need you to have several seats
Listen,
and write down.
um, somebody did a review of Forever My Lady. It wasn't like on Amazon or anything, but they did the review and they said that it was two people. One person gave the book like a 4.8. She really loved it. The other person was like, yeah, I loved it, but I'm gonna give it like a 4.4. So the girl, her friend was like, why? Like, what happened? And she was like, I just didn't have enough toxicity for me. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, this book with the pink cover with the hearts, right? Like you taking away points because it wasn't toxic, like that wasn't what the book was. If you like toxic,
You should find you a toxic book.
but my book is not bad. See, this is what I'm saying. My book is not bad because it's not toxic. It wasn't supposed to be toxic. I didn't market it as being toxic. I didn't lie to you and offer you a toxic book and then it was cute. So how am I being penalized for that?
So this is what I need readers to understand. Come on, readers. Do you readers mean you reading. You're reading. Read. Listen. I'm not trying to bash you. I'm not. But I need you to use your common sense if you have them. Because reading is supposed to be enjoyable. So are you on here as an editor or are you on here as what are you doing? You know, make it clear as to what you're doing. Um I know okay, so let's transition to this. So
Mm-hmm.
editing
Mm.
and all of that. I know that that is very very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep that manageable? That's the best word.
I do it myself. No, I mean there's different you have to get resourceful, right? If you have money to just drop on an editor and walk away, that's the best case scenario. For me, looking at this as a business, right? The more money that this business generates is the more money that I could spend on the business. But initially, right, I have to, there has to be some type of, okay, cost effectiveness to this. So
Mhm.
certain things, like if I could do it myself, I'm going to do it myself.
Right.
And I feel like the luxury of being an indie is that you can do that. I could sit
Mhm.
here and say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna play around with this cover and see what I come up with. I'm gonna figure out how to sit here and edit, or I'm gonna pay for this much editing, and then I'm gonna do all this other stuff myself because I actually don't mind doing that. So that's how I handle it, and that's how I've always been in my mind. Like the more money a book makes is the more money I'll spend on the next book and what I'm going to do with it. But I'm not going out of my way and spending more money than I think that I'm even going to make on a book to produce it. Like I can't do it.
I implore those that cannot do it yourselves to at least find someone who can do the grammatical
There's
errors.
people out there, you will be surprised. Like it's people out there. If you need a proofreader, you can get a proofreader. Ask around. You have people in your life that are English majors, that are teachers. Now, is that the best case scenario? No, but it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing.
Speak. Okay. Question. How important are character names for you? Do you just like, okay, I'm just gonna call this person this person? Because everybody, some of these authors get real creative with their character names. But yours are more on the common side. How do you decide if they're gonna be
Um,
common or if they're gonna be out there?
it's kind of like how the scenes come. Sometimes the names come. Like my first book is called. I wind up calling it Jaded Hearts because all of the main characters, their names started with a J. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why. I was a little, I had partaken in some things, some edibles, and I sat there, and it was like Jade, Julian, John, and then her cousin's name was Jackie. Why? I don't know. I don't know. The R&B series, certain names have certain meanings, so I kept that in mind when I was choosing, to name certain characters. But I want to tell you something funny that happened. So with Shane and Joey, right? Shane and Joey, I don't know where those names came from. I just like the name Shane, and I always, like the name Joey for a girl. So halfway through the book, I was like, what do their names really mean? And I started writing down the meaning of all the characters, and it was actually like lining up to their personalities. And I was like, that's cool. So Shane is a derivative of Sean. Sean is a derivative of John, right? So John, Jonathan, that's the name. And that means like God is gracious. And so then I went to Joey. Joey is short for Jonelle. Jonelle is short for Jane. Jane is the female version of John. So it wound up, their names were the same. They meant the same thing. And I was like, God is gracious. I was like, oh my gosh. So I don't know. That just gave me this like little feeling throughout the book. I was like,
You
oh,
know
this is
what? I'm
sweet.
sick of you. It gave you a little something going on. I'm sorry, but I have foolishness behind me on this
Okay.
part. He's
Which
getting
baby
ready to
is
suck
that?
that Skittles.
Okay. Skittles want to be on. He got questions.
Skittles is always wanting to be on, so he may make an appearance. Sorry, people, but in order to keep him quiet,
Listen, let Skittles live.
listen, Skittles on my nerves because he getting ready to start whining. Come on, come on, so you can stop. I'm sorry. All right, here we go.
Hey, Skittles.
Say hi, doo dudes.
Hi, Skittles. He was like, listen, I just want to be on my mommy's lap.
So,
Come to the stage, it's Skittles.
oh, Lord Jesus. So, and the thing is, he act like he's somebody baby.
Mm-hmm.
He is
That's your
not.
baby. It's your baby.
Girl, and Skittles will go somewhere and have several seats. But I ate in the foolishness in the mayhem, so it's my fault too.
Mm-hmm.
What will you always include in your book? In your books?
Humor. There's always going to be some type of humor. There's always going to be some type of sarcasm, some type of, what? Did you see that? I just can't help it.
I like it. I like it. I like when your personality shines through. Which character is most like you?
I feel like probably Joey.
Okay.
She knows how to like. I'm a little bit. I think I'm a little bit more straightforward than her. She's very like soft with her friends, right? Like, okay, it's all right. You'll be okay. And I'm very much like that too. But like, if depending on how close we are, my closest friends, I'm like, hey, are you okay? But just how she approached relationships and how she was able to be like, okay, I'm, looking at this. And so for now, this is what I want to do. And yeah, this is happening, but, that's not where I am in my life right now. Like that's very much me.
Okay. How are you a person that have to outline, or can you just write off the seat of your pants?
I outline it and then still wind up writing out the seat of my pants because the outline doesn't even doesn't even relate. By the time I get through that book, that outline is like maybe next time.
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. How can I say that? How do I want to
It's
pose
really a
this question?
suggestion. Trust me. It's just to make me feel good, make me feel like I know what's going on when really it's just
But
whatever.
it's not. I mean, but to me, I feel like outlines are supposed to be, it's supposed to make the writing process easier. But some people say it doesn't. It's just something
Because
like that.
an outline is a practical feature,
Mm-hmm.
but you're being creative. So if I outline a book and by chapter 10, a pivotal moment was supposed to happen. But somehow in chapter 5, something else came up that maybe pushed that moment up or pushed it
Mm-hmm.
back, right? So now my outline is messed up and I gotta, so instead of sitting there and being like, oh, I gotta keep fixing this outline, it gets to a point where I'm just like, all right, I'm writing these scenes and then I'm gonna figure out where they go, how they go together. You know, because sometimes I write and then I realize, oh wait, I don't even want this to go here. This needs to go further up, or this, or this needs to just go. Period. So
Is editing hard for you?
it's not hard. It's just not fun. It's just tedious. And then you read this thing and you swore you caught everything, and then you read it again and you're seeing something else, and then you read it a third time and you realize, like this last book, I'm like I duplicated. Or you do a search and you realize you used the word deliberate 85 times, and it's like, oh, how many other times did I do that? So it's just like now I got to go through those 85 instances and decide which ones do I want to stay deliberate, and then which ones I got to switch it to a different word or take it out of. And so it just takes a lot of time.
Does is the
Right.
process? I mean, is what's your turnaround time when writing a book? I'll ask that question first.
They're all different. Like I said, Forever My Lady was 2 weeks. Given a Chance, 2 months. Lovers and Friends, I was writing that from like February to July.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this Christmas book was really quick because it was something I had started from before, but even then, that didn't take a lot of time. It's really about me. You know how you have a mood reader. I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of a mood writer. I said 2025. I want to get to that point where I'm like, okay, I'm putting myself on a schedule, and I'm gonna sit at my desk a certain amount of hours, and but for the most part, I'm very much a procrastinator. So I'll just sit here for like 3 days straight and just do everything I got to do, and then like die at the end.
So for 2025, what do you have planned?
So 2025. All right. So we have possible Valentine's story.
Mm-hmm.
We have Kiko's story. So that's R&B series book number 4.
Mm-hmm.
We have Out of Luck part 2. And we have, I'm part of an anthology, so it's a novella, it's a Geeks and Jocks anthology that's coming out in
Mm-hmm.
summer, I think June 2025. And then I have a couple other like secret projects.
Okay. Okay.
Nina, definitely, I'm definitely doing a Valentine's story.
I'm excited for that. Darrell, do you hear her? You don't have to ask for a Thanksgiving novella because she's doing Valentine's.
Oh, wait, y'all want Thanksgiving novellas?
She
Because
know she wrote a novella for every holiday. If
every
it's Martin
holiday.
Luther King, she wrote one for Martin
Oh, who does
Luther
that? Danielle Allen does that. She got a novella for a book for every holiday.
uh, but she be serious, and we just go to ask the question for the people because we know she gonna ask.
Oh, since she lives on fellas, you guys are, if you're not following, it's the 12 Days of Black Christmas. It's a hashtag. And we've had a new book from a Black romance author every day for those 12 days.
Okay.
So the 12 Days of Black Christmas, I have some videos up. Just click on the hashtag and you'll see all of the books that are under that little promotion. So Isla Cox, she has a book also coming out the 23rd. Riel Knight, she's in here. She has a book same day. So the three of us are dropping the 23rd. Nina's book came out on Saturday. So if you read all of her series, the Martin Brothers series, she did, like a one book with three stories wrapping up what they did for Christmas. So you guys have more than enough to read for Christmas.
Question: do you feel like you have to be an avid reader to be a good writer?
Mm, I feel like it helps. I'm not going to say that you have to be a good writer, but I feel like it helps because I think that the more you read, especially if you started reading from a young age, writing could be technical, right? Writing could be creative. So you can be a very good technical writer, which is going to make it easier for you if you are trying to, because you could literally just come up with an idea and technically follow that storyline. But
Mm-hmm.
depending on what you're trying to convey, like me, I'm always trying to make you feel what I'm feeling. That's just personal to me. It's not typical for everyone else. So that's easier for me because like I said, when I was younger, I was always in a world. I was always in another world. And then it's almost like repetition, right? The more you read and the more you're massaging your brain like that, it's easier for you to think like that. So then when it's time for me to write, this whole world just pops up for the book. Boom. This is the R&B series world right here.
I I used to watch. I think I read this book called The American Marriage, and I was listening to someone. She was doing an interview with someone. She was saying everybody wants to write that great American book.
Hmm.
Are you one of those people?
Because what is that, right? I gotta write. Of course, like I'm not gonna lie to you and say, "Oh, I don't care if my books become popular." No, no, no. You of course you want to write that book and then it blows up. But for me, I want to have like a catalog. I wanted to, when I get older, my grandkids or whoever, be like, "Oh, click on Olivia Linden," and boom, all my books pop up.
Right.
I know that the way I write isn't necessarily like for mass consumption, and I'm gonna attempt to maybe try to see if I could write like that, but that was never my goal. You write because it's something that comes out for you and for me, anyways, and I just want to find people who like the stuff that I write.
Right. Do you feel like you have to chase your audience, or your audience is just finding you?
I think I just have to put like you have to be at the place, right? If you want to get picked for the basketball team, you got to go to the practice. So it's like from last year to this year, when I first came back last year, I had like 300 followers. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't a part of anything. I didn't even know what book talk was. I didn't know what Black book talk was. And so as I put myself out there a little bit more, it was just funny to watch how everything just kind of started to get, and there's even more. It's like there's more and more. But it was just a matter of putting myself out there, putting myself out there, talking to people, connecting with people, making sure to not only make content, but like appreciate other people's content, right? What does Booked and Busy, like when I saw your first avatar, I was like, oh, what does she have going on? Okay. And then, I was like, oh, I like her review. So, you just have to keep, okay, if you like people, you have to support them also. So
If you could collaborate with anybody, any author in the world, dead or alive, who would it be?
so she already knows, but I want to do something with Isla Cox.
Of course.
I think
Who doesn't?
the two of us, put those two quirky, crazy sides together. That's gonna be crazy. But like if I thought of a big, big author, because a lot of
Ella
authors,
is a big, big author. She's great.
you know what I mean, like well known,
More
household,
established,
yeah,
or
established.
is that the good word? Okay.
That's a better word. Um, like Most of them, they're not even here anymore. Because like I love Zora Neale Hurston's writing style,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and she's somebody that if I could, I would definitely collaborate with her because I feel like the way that she writes very clearly, vividly, it's very consumable, but also there's undertones, right? She has those undertones in there that you could miss it and still still enjoy the story, but if you catch it, it kind of hits you right here. So I love her writing style.
Do you have to have visuals when writing your characters?
No, I don't have to, but I like doing it. I don't know if you noticed, but I like it. I like, doing my little Pinterest board. I'm like, oh, this is this character. It kind of helps because when you're envisioning, the scene, then they have faces.
Hmm. What about a title? Do you have to have a working title?
No, because it changes. A lot of times I'll start with one title, and it's not until really I'm doing the book cover that I even worry about the title. Hey, Miranda.
Hold on one second. They got me with this old puzzle thing. You got to
Oh,
drag the
okay.
puzzle
Well,
into
there,
place.